So welcome to the town board meeting on May 23rd, 2024. We actually had an executive session beforehand to discuss personnel, so we opened up the meeting officially. So we said the pledge already, and we opened up the meeting. So I move to the first item on our agenda, which is consider proposal of engineering services for Sean Hoffman with Lankin Tully Engineering Services. Essentially what has happened here is Sean Hoffman is our engineer at this point and has been our engineer for many, many years. He has decided to join Lankin Tully Engineering Services. So there's a contract that's before you, which is 5 pages long. It's been reviewed by our council and reviewed by the councilmen. So I think everything is in order. Essentially, the rate of pay is the same, and there's really not too much changes. As a matter of fact, this contract that we're about to entertain is basically the same one that he had when he was out on his own, or with another company, I should say. So, would somebody like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion that we authorize the supervisor to sign the agreement for engineering services with Sean Hoffman for Lankin, representing Lankin Tully Engineering Services to go into effect June 1st, 2024.
I'll second the motion.
Second motion. Discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to just say to the public, Sean, I've known him for many years working for us. I've worked with a lot of engineers through the years, and he's probably as competent as any I've worked with. So I'm so grateful that we're going to still have access to him.
Right.
So I'll make a comment also that one of the requirements of this new partnership that Sean will be a partner in Lankin Tully is that Sean would remain the town of Goshen engineer. That's how much confidence we have in Sean Hoffman over many, many, many years. So I was delighted to make that resolution.
So essentially, there's no changes, and also the planning board has had input into this as well, and they agree with what we're doing as far as the planning board, because it's really just a formality in my mind.
You need a roll call vote?
Probably
I think so.
Yes.
Cantorino, aye.
Cantorino?
Aye, Doug Woodby.
And Deputy Supervisor Lyons? Aye.
Okay. Welcome aboard, Sean.
Thank you.
Okay.
Welcome aboard.
We're delighted. Did we do it right, Mary?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
I never let Sean go.
The next item on the agenda is the road, discuss and approve the 2024 road program. And Roderick is here, if you can just give us a rundown on things.
Kind of fitting that it's you three tonight because we've all been together on this since 2011, so this is number 14.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You got to turn it on.
Oh, why?
Why? One job we can have, you can do there for us, Roderick.
All right, so the first page you have is the 2024 agreement to spend highway funds, part of section 284 of the highway law. Item number 1 is the general repairs section. It shows that what is budgeted, which is $190,000. General repairs for 77.07 centerline miles of road. Section number 2 is the improvement section. This includes $1 million in town funds, 212, almost 213 in chips, and then the various other funds totaling $1,337,738.41. kind of excited about this year's program. We're going to be doing a lot of different things. We don't have a big project. We're not doing any cold-in-place recycling, but we're getting into a lot of different areas. One thing we're going to do that we started last year was Rejuvenator. If you remember, Rejuvenator was a sprayed-on coating which soaked into the pavement and provided a new ultraviolet coating,
Right.
which we've been saying for a long time. It is ultraviolet, and that oxidation that starts to deteriorate the roads. That's when you see nice blacktop 1 year, and 5 years later it's light gray. That's the oxidation process, and that starts microscopic cracks that start the whole ruination of asphalt. So this year we are doing 15.04 miles of rejuvenation. This is all on roads that have not been chip sealed, that have virgin asphalt on them. Appendix A is the list of all the roads that we're going to do. I didn't have room on the summary sheet. I'll go through it. I won't go through everything. I'll try to highlight. We're chip sealing of 4.83 miles of road. Last year we did almost 11. I will say that one thing we found when we did 11 miles of chip seal, we had a hell of a time getting all the loose stone off. It took, you know, you can send a sweeper out there and
Right.
10 minutes later it's full.
Right.
So you make a lot of trips. So there are the roads we're going to chip seal. We are going to do celery. We did that probably 6 years ago. And we're going to get in, we're going to do a little section, a quarter mile section of Indiana. That we get a lot of complaints
Yeah.
in that last section about dust in the summer. I was skeptical of it, but finally we're in a position to do that. The two main roads, 6.5 Station and Hartley Road. Then the section next is fiber mat. We haven't done fiber mat in a few years. That is kind of a double chip seal, but that first layer is fiberglass fibers that are cut, and they kind of fall down. There's 56 tubes of fiberglass that have multiple strands in it. They're cut in 4-inch pieces as it goes along, and they fall down like pickup sticks.
Right.
And that provides kind of a matting. And the roads we're doing have some cracking. That's Skulls and Milburn, Vetri, Moonlight, Strack, Storms in August. Up there, we're gonna hit all of those. The price of $96,000 to do that also includes the company coming back and fog sealing those roads afterwards, which we do whenever we can because it helps lock the stone in from the top. So a list of paving, which are Lakeview Drive, which is off of Reservoir, Premier, Marabito, Goshen, Autumn, Lovett. Those are all off of Reservoir. Dunmore Lane is off of
Gibson.
Right.
And Longview Terrace, which is off of Lower Reservoir. And we're finally going to do Industrial Drive. Wanted to do that for quite a while. We've had a lot of complaints about Industrial Drive, and last year we got all catch basins fixed, so we're in a position to do it this year. We have PPST, which type B, which is also called Nova Chip. We haven't done that in a few years, but we have had some success with it. Last year we did Farmingdale with that, and it looks very nice. And if you remember, Nova Chip is a layer of asphalt, probably around 3/4 to an inch. It does have polymers in there. It doesn't necessarily give you structure, but it does give you a wear surface, and it does look nice. So we are again going off of Reservoir. I wanted to get everything off of Reservoir this year. North Gates, Bruce Hill, Summit View, and South Gate.
Wow.
So we will know chip those. We're going to go back and we're going to do Howard Court. That way Howard Court will freshen that up so that it is newer, as is Rolling Ridge. And then we have, post paving work which is signage and which we usually do that to continue to change out our signs to comply with MUTCD with the new retro reflective mandate. So you will see our planned expenditures are $1,267,699.79. That leaves a revenue balance of $70,038.62, which we find something and we have time, we will use that at the end. As usually, I figure conservatively, so I usually have enough money covered, so usually we come in a little under, so we can add to that revenue balance.
The monies up top, CHIPS monies and Pave New York, and of course it's extreme winter recovery. That's all given money, right?
Yes.
It's not that we're gonna be
Yes, there's three.
waiting for it or whatever. It's as soon as we expend it, we get it. Before it comes.
Within reason, yes. There are certain dates at which you file that.
Mhm.
So, but you have to do it on that date, and then that date, there's a corresponding payment date.
So now, Roderick, I would say it's probably, maybe I'm extending it more, but I would say it's probably almost 10 years now that we've expended $1 million or more on the roads in town, and it's certainly, I think it's fabulous. We've gotten a lot of compliments as far as the roads. What would you say, out of all the roads, the 77 miles, with all these years that we spent over $1 million, what would you say we're at as far as, are we 70% done or 90% done?
I'm gonna say we're 80 to 85% done. There are a lot of
Subdivisions.
cul-de-sacs and you see we aren't doing anything in Arcadia Hills this year. We did 3 years in a row. 2 more years we should be all the way through there. We stopped doing Ham Park for a while, and we should be getting back in there. We did the worst of the roads, but some of the ones that were done in the lower section after the water, the ductile iron water main was put in, it's getting time to redo those again. And there's other developments, roads like Avalon or Fairway off of Old Menacing Trail. There's places, we could have done some work on Cameron. So, and we're going to continue to whittle away at those. Like I said, this year was I had fun putting this together this year because we really got outside of what, when we did some of these major roads like Old Menacing Trail or these long runs like Old Chester and Knoll, and we pulled in place, recycled them, and we paved 2 inches on top of them, that used up a lot of money very quickly, and it was great to be able to do those things because they approved,
But you know, I think that, to follow up on what George is saying, it was several years ago, we decided to spend at least $1 million a year. And, this is digging the road up, and we're doing it right, the sub base and all of that business. And it's interesting, because if you ride on county roads, village roads, state roads, or wherever, you're gonna find some roads are, I mean, they're not spending money.
Terrible shape.
And you get what you pay for. And cumulatively, I think Town of Goshen roads are probably the best they've been maybe ever. And it's because we spent the money.
We made a concerted effort to make sure that you were properly funded. I wanted to ask you, Roderick, are there any roads or any areas that you see that are being, I want to say, I don't want to use the term abused, but that are being used and causing accelerated deterioration of the roads by some of the bigger trucks taking shortcuts, some of the concrete trucks? I've had some people email me. One was Maple Avenue. I think
One's Houston Road, there's a lot of them. And you know, the weight limit, we said we're gonna do 5 tons and the speed limits and all these things.
Right.
Yeah.
But do you see any areas that you're having any?
I have not seen damage, but the weight of vehicles does deteriorate
Absolutely.
roads faster. It's
Yeah.
but it's not. You know, if you remember when we had some consternation with Tetz and the Midway Bridge,
Yeah.
you know, we had just done Phillipsburg Road, and
Right.
you know, so we tried to inspect Phillipsburg Road, and then we were going to inspect it again after the trucks had been on it, and you're just not going to see. There's not going to be immediate damage unless, but
No.
it is going to come
Right.
to haunt you.
Well, that's why I'm saying we have such nice roads. I want to make sure we take care of them. And if there are any areas that you see, and also our police are right in the back, any areas that you see are being abused, and really those big trucks that are taking shortcuts rather than taking the proper roads, abuse the roads and deteriorate them.
There's 2 roads that go from 17M to 17A.
Right.
Gate School Road and Houston Road, that are abused, and both tonnage and speed. And I have some real concerns about speed, and we lowered the speed supposedly on Houston Road. We haven't heard back, I guess, from the state that we can do it, but we have all these subdivisions and school buses and no shoulders, and we've got to protect these children.
Yeah, and I know Maple Avenue is a real now is boiling up to the top. So anyway,
One
thank
road
you.
that I'm particularly fond of is, and I'm watching very carefully, is Hartley Road. That was, as some people said, the worst road in the county. Some said the state. It was like driving on the moon.
On a good day.
But if you remember, we did something very unique there where we went down a full depth reclamation,
Right.
1 foot, and we stabilized it with probably 240 tons of cement, and that's some base there.
Yeah.
We put
And it's held up.
Yeah.
it has. I keep looking at it.
Yeah.
What's the overall status of the culverts and the catch basins? I know we've done a lot of work, but is there still a lot of work to be done on those 2 areas?
Yes. And it's continued, and MS4's, I'll call it, new program is going to accelerate that even further, because now your culverts are supposed to be inspected every year. All your catch basins are supposed to be cleaned out, sucked out and jetted every year. You will see we're making a concerted effort to get back into ditching. We've been probably a month now on Arcadia and Conklin Town, just just ditching.
Right.
We've got, probably 2 months worth of driveway pipes to replace. They've all been determined, to be old galvanized and they're rotting out, so, and that ditching is paramount to keeping water away from the underside of our
Yeah.
roads that causes damage as well.
Okay.
Good.
Okay,
Well, thank you, Roger.
yes,
Thank you.
thank you. So we have a sheet here, the agreement sheet between, I guess you and the town board.
Yeah.
So are we supposed to be signing this tonight?
Yes,
Not everybody is here to sign it, but
no,
the
but you
people
can
who are
sign
here
it
to
before
sign
you.
it.
Yeah, usually it comes a few days
This one?
afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll get from you guys after.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, Robert, thank you very much for your time and your efforts.
Thank you.
Seems to be paying off.
I think George's
Good.
motion to approve it.
Oh, yeah. I need a motion to have an agreement between the superintendent of highways and the town board for the 2024 agreement to spend highway
No, you can let me.
funds.
You're fine.
So move.
Second?
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
We need to have a roll call vote on that, since it's a big number.
I used to do roll call vote on every one of them.
Yeah,
So
so
that
this
way
is
there's
it.
never worried, but
Okay.
we'll leave that.
Cantorino, aye.
Lyons, aye.
Littlefield, aye.
You can sign this and then pass it over to,
Good.
yeah. Okay, moving right along here, the next issue is Rolling Ridge. Review, discuss, and accept the resolution accepting Rolling Ridge Drive as a public road. Sean, you gonna?
Yeah, I can
Basically, take
start
us
the
through this?
discussion and answer any questions you have.
Yeah.
So, as you know, Rolling Ridge has been around for some time. I believe the highway superintendent and I issued a punch list as far back as, I think, 2020 or 2021. It's taken the developer a long time to complete those items. Currently, there are 3 items remaining. One is going to be done very shortly. That's the installation of a dry line from one of the stormwater ponds. In case the fire department ever needs to draft, they don't need to throw a pump in, they can just hook up to the dry line. The other 2 are going to be taken by the highway department. That is the installation of one section of guardrail, and also the removal of our gang mailboxes that you'll see once all the residents have their mailboxes up, the post office will come through. So the punch list will be essentially done very soon. That's all managed. The developer, I understand, has dropped off payment for a maintenance bond with the clerk's office. That is a little less than what's required under code. However, in this instance, the work has been done for much longer time. There's been no paving done in a number of years. Normally, the developer, because they finish the punch list rapidly, they finish it, they turn it over to you immediately because they don't want to hold on to it, and you take that bond for a year in case any latent defects surface. In this instance, the roads have not been touched in a number of years, so I
So
think
how much money is it?
he has given you $80,000.
$80,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we holding any other money on it?
No.
No,
We've released all the other funds? Okay.
80,000 and held for 1 year.
And that's cash, correct?
Yes,
All right. I'm on.
And since you're named in here, Broderick, Town Highway Superintendent recommends the acceptance. Do you have anything else to say? As far as Rolling Ridge?
No, I don't.
Wow, that took a while. Are you sure, Broderick, you don't have something to say?
I was getting a little scared.
Yeah. Are you sure?
What's in the back?
Because now's the time to say it.
Yeah.
It's a moot point. Avi played us,
Well,
and
you just gave our
I don't
attorney a heart attack.
Yeah.
I don't ever want
If it's
to
a moot
have it happen
Yeah.
again.
Okay.
There
Okay.
was no monies to take, to hold on him from his performance bond. So that's why it's a moot point. We have to move forward. He's not gonna put the guardrail up. He's not gonna take the mailboxes down. So we're gonna do it for him. I don't ever wanna do that again, because that's not, Sean and I work very hard to inspect these as they're going in, and to try to make sure that we get the job that we're supposed to.
We're gonna do it for him? Do we have the funds to
You
do it
have the
for him?
$80,000.
Out of the 80,000? And then will enough be left for any kind of maintenance bond?
Yes.
So then,
Okay.
whatever,
If I could just remind,
Yeah,
there were some problems with performance bonds and the
Right.
aspect of what was acceptable under your code. Because of those problems, keep in mind, this project's been around since 2016.
right,
Because of those problems, you had adopted a local law to change your bonds and to get cash.
to get cash.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you've taken steps to address Broderick's concerns moving forward, and I think this hopefully is the last time you have a problem like this ever.
Yeah, as long as we're taking cash bonds and we don't revert to letters of credit and so on and so forth. Okay, good.
so if I understand this correctly, then the things that you said he was supposed to do that he didn't do, you are going to do naturally with your staff.
Correct.
So we have $80,000, and whatever the time and expense, materials and stuff like that, we deduct it from the 80,000.
That's your understanding.
Which is not gonna be, the guide rail I got for $1,500, the company is gonna install it when they come soon, in the next few weeks. They should be in Goshen. We have guide rail repairs that they are gonna make, and since they're gonna be in town, he told me, he just charged me, 2-3 hours of labor to put that 24-foot section of guide rail in, so it's not gonna cost us a lot of money. But yes, that's coming out
Not
of
gonna cost us any money.
It's gonna cost them, it's gonna cost,
Right.
you say, Avi? It's gonna cost Avi.
Okay. So you recommend that we accept the road?
Yes, I just want to point out, there's three
Okay.
conditions that need to occur. So if you take action this evening, the developer has 120 days to complete those. The first one is that they provide you, I'm just going to paraphrase them.
Yeah.
First one is they provide you with title insurance to make sure that the parcel, the road parcel,
Okay.
is free of any liens. The other is the execution of agreement with the town. And the last is that the maintenance bond would be received, but it already has been.
Okay, so
What
then-
happens if he doesn't come back with a title insurance policy and all that?
And then your resolution this evening is void
Okay.
until he clears that up. And
So
then
do
you have
we,
another resolution.
do we hold until he does that and then make the resolution?
I don't think you need to do that. I think what this does is this now allows you to accept the road as long as he provides that title insurance policy.
Okay.
All right? And again, you have the $80,000 in cash, so I would expect him to get that done.
Okay.
Okay, so then, guess we would entertain a motion to, accept of the deed for Rolling Ridge Drive relative to the estates at Rolling Ridge subdivision, and authorization of supervisor to sign agreement with the estates at Rolling Ridge related to the maintenance bond.
With the understanding that
The conditions are part of that act.
Part of
Okay.
it. Page 2.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll move on.
I'll make a motion
Okay, we got a
regarding
motion.
this.
I'll second.
Second. Any other discussion?
You don't have it?
Roll call vote.
Motion.
Why not?
Next one.
Cantorino, aye.
Lions eye.
Doug Bloomfield, aye.
If I could add one item before you leave this topic.
Yeah.
The subdivision includes a stop intersection. Now that you're taking that over, what I'd recommend is you authorize council to prepare a local law that would then add that stop intersection to your code.
Ah,
That's good to me.
okay.
Yeah, that's good.
So you'll prepare that, Rory, for our next meeting? Okay, or whatever. Okay. Thank you.
One thing we just talked about was the cash bond. Back several years ago, I think we learned the lesson the hard way. If you have cash, you got it, versus a bond with a bank or this or that. Because then you have to fight to get the money when you need it. So we've been going with cash bonds, and people don't like it, but we get it. So good for us.
If you don't have anything else for me, it's okay if I leave?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe so.
Good.
Yes, with that, thank you, Sean.
Yeah,
Thank you.
welcome on board.
Night, John.
Thank you,
Okay,
Broderick.
good night.
Good night.
Nice job, Broderick.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the electric bids, and allow the supervisor to sign the document. So it's a one-pager, and it was updated from, I guess, yesterday to today. The price for the kilowatts goes up and down daily. So we are presently paying 0.12467, and the new rate, which is locked in for 12 months, is 0.095. So on the sheet of paper that I just received, it means that we would, when they take all the kilowatts that we expend, we would be saving $18,227. So I need a motion to.
Where's Tyson bark on a tree? I love it. I'll make a motion regarding this.
Yeah, it's all thanks to Christine.
Yeah.
Okay, so do I need
This
a
is
motion?
a hedging contract for purchase of power?
No, I don't think there's any hedging.
Who's the contract with?
It's gonna be with,
Constellation.
Okay, yeah, so, okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you, that's what I did.
But we have a company that we've worked with for years and years and years called M&R,
Yeah,
Energy
I'm familiar.
Resources. And those folks have really helped us out.
Right. I'll second it. There's a motion on the floor, so we can't have any discussion. I'll second the motion.
Okay. Any other discussion?
No.
Okay, so now do a roll call vote.
Cantorino, aye.
Lions eye.
Doug Bloomfield, aye.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda is we had one of our part-time court clerks leave us. And so we have before us tonight a possibility of hiring a new part-time court clerk by the name of Lorena Gutierrez at a rate of $24.36, and this is a part-time position.
Question, does she speak Spanish?
Yes, it was in there that we
Yeah.
should on.
Because
Oh,
the person who resigned is at the window, who speaks Spanish, and good, they can speak, I saw the name, it looked like her.
so I need a motion.
So moved that we hire this part-time clerk.
I second the motion.
Okay. Mr. Canarino?
Aye.
Lions eye.
Doug Bloomfield, aye.
Next item is our assessor, or actually our assistant assessor, Aileen Ippolito, has presented to us a request to go to attend the New York State Association of Assessors Association at Cornwall Conference. And she has delineated here all of the costs. The cost total with mileage and accommodations and conference and registration classes is a total of $1,306.
Okay.
So do I have a motion to
So moved.
go?
So moved.
Okay, made by Doug Bloomfield and
I'll second the motion, but I'd like to have her come to the town board and give us just a thumbnail understanding of what went on at that conference. So,
After the fact, yeah.
just like Christine did.
right.
Okay, so I'll call the question then.
Cantorino, aye.
Lions eye.
Doug Bloomfield, aye.
Thank you. Next, we move to the approve the town board minutes dated May 9th. So I need a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Second, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That was easy. Next, we go for information purposes. A gentleman by the name of Robert Brady wrote to Frank Lieber, our building inspector. Please accept this notice of my letter of resignation. He's currently an assistant building inspector for us. He had, if people don't know, building inspectors are very, very much in demand. So fortunately for him and unfortunately for us, he got a full-time job. So,
One of the other things is that we've had somebody up there with, like Nick Ealer, who worked in the fire department. They know all the safety rules about fire safety. I don't know what, I think this fellow had some of it as well, so I don't know. But we need, whoever takes his place, we need to make sure that happens.
so we need
We're gonna do a code enforcer.
a motion to accept his resignation.
So move.
I'll second, and please send a letter of appreciation for the services that he has given us. Ask the supervisor to send it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We move now on to finance. First thing is discuss and approve a motion to authorize the supervisor to pay accounts payable check run for May 23rd, 2024 in the amount of $321,900.42.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call?
No.
No? Just aye?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Okay, aye. That was easy.
Yeah.
Next is review and approve year-to-date budget transfers. There's a couple of pages there,
Right.
so we need a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next is review and approve manual AP run. AP run as of 4/30/2024.
Do you have the amount? And then it's not on the
The
agenda.
amount is not on my agenda.
But Christine gives you the full
The
briefing.
full
It's
sheet,
part of
okay.
the
I haven't
yeah.
seen it.
Well, usually they'll spell out that AP, both run amounts.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys might be able to help me here. I don't know which. There's a lot of papers here that a lot is for our information purposes, but specifically for that.
Should be in the top of account payable.
Are you ready, George? You want me to just?
Go ahead, just say the amount.
$486,764.34.
Okay, so I need a motion.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's the AP manual. For information purposes, we have an AP review of 5/9/2024, which is in your packet there.
Yeah.
And then the last thing was review of the financial reports as of 12/31/2023, and also as of 3/31/2024. That's all in your packet there.
If the big packet of you.
Okay.
Okay. So, I think that does it as far as the formal agenda. So
Yeah.
now we will have privilege of the floor.
If I may?
Go for
Okay. Wrote down some of my remarks so I didn't get ahead of myself.
Jonathan, just state your name, I'm sorry.
Jonathan Adamo, 7 Meadowbrook Lane, Goshen, New York. What happened here? Here we go. So, members of the town board, I address you today not out of courtesy, but out of necessity. As representatives entrusted with the welfare of our community, it's imperative that we confront the issues that have arisen. Before diving into specifics, let us reflect on the solemn oath of office that you all took before you took office. I specifically target members of the board and other officials whose actions have flagrantly betrayed the trust bestowed upon them, neglecting to maintain updated public records and failing to inform the board of FOIL appeals are not only dishonorable, but direct violations of law passed by this very body. Deceit regarding legislative changes and flagrant disregard for communication protocols only serve to deepen the nauseating breach of trust. Furthermore, the outburst, loss of composure, exemplified by one member calling me, and I quote, a fucking asshole that should make a fucking appointment just outside this very room is unbecoming of public office.
I would
But we
appreciate
can
it
address
if you-
that matter another
Hold on
time.
a second.
I will use
Hold on a
language
second.
I see fit as a United States
no,
citizen.
no, you will not.
Yes, I will.
You can
Okay.
use F word or something like that, but you will not use those
I have a
words
First Amendment
in
right.
a public forum.
You're incorrect. So you like to arrest me? I didn't think so.
If necessary.
Okay, go for it.
That's what he wants.
Yes.
Are we done? Can I continue? Okay, cool. So, furthermore, let us point out the ineptitude of a legislature, executive, and its council who think they have the authority to discriminate access to traditional public forums, i.e. parks, based on membership to a paid government program that is not open to all, under the authoritarian go-to guise of safety. And then in the same clause, mention the doctrine of time, place, and manner restrictions, just to prove your own incompetence and the second-rate jurisprudence of your legal advisors. We would also mention this body's attempts to willfully violate a resident's First and Fourth Amendment rights by, without due process, seizing their First Amendment protected signage based on their private property because the government failed to hold her to account for other misdeeds. And mind you, I'm the one who notified police of her alleged abuse, of whom my mother is suffering the actions of. Why? Because it's called integrity, and you took an oath to uphold the rights of even the dishonorable. So, it's appalling that you took these oaths and then violate them, campaigned on integrity, and disregard your duties so brazenly. Let me be clear and speak in no uncertain terms. These transgressions will not be tolerated. I understand that some might interpret these words as pedantic, and that's understandable. However, to dismiss them would be a grave mistake, one I hope is not made. So let this serve as a solemn warning. I am not here to play games, but rather to ensure that justice is served, transparency is restored, and that people's voice is heard. My pursuit is unyielding, driven by a fierce commitment to the spirit of limited government and liberty at large. So I'd like to leave you with words that you and every other public official and employee desperately need to be reminded of, from a man who would think my words were too kind. Governments are instituted among men, derived from their just powers of the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as they shall deem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. You will hear from me again.
Public comment.
I'm Erica Quarles.
You wanna come up here and use the microphone?
No, I don't need my phone.
Well, no, it records it.
We need your name,
record it.
and we
My
wanna
name is
record your
Erica Carr. I
comment.
live in New Hampton, and I have been to several meetings, and there are people that have been on the board that have been truly disrespectful to the public, who's here to gain information about things that are going on, such as huges and your warehouses. But he was correct. People are blatant, rude, and inconsiderate of the public.
Right. Your name and address?
Erica Carl, New Hampton, New York.
Got that?
I don't even know if I'm spelled pretty well.
Other public comment?
Good evening, Tom.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Good evening, Chris Healy, Town of Goshen resident. I would like to say that I have spoken before this board and the planning board numerous times. I have always been treated with respect. Thank you for your service, deeply. Never had the problems mentioned by the guy before, and he's a tough act to follow. We had a meeting scheduled for June 6th. We were going to discuss or take a vote on local law 1 and use energy. That meeting has been canceled. I'm wondering if you know, could you tell us why?
Yeah, I can give you some of the information because I actually spoke with Joe Petro today about that issue. It's been canceled because Hughes Energy has decided to back off their application at this particular point, and they're going to work with the DEC to try and get their approval to the DEC. They hope to get that and then come back to us. But I think Joe said something about at least 90 days. Lori, do you know anything more?
I'll let you go and then I'll fill in whatever blanks.
Hughes is before the planning board, so we don't have anything to do with Hughes. Introductory local law is being amended based on your suggestions from the last meeting. It's being reviewed by the planning board in Orange County, so there will be changes and it will be reintroduced.
You know
know,
That's my,
as an environmental scientist, okay, I think that the EPA, you know, we talk about when you're in New York State, the DEC and the health department, that if you're gonna be putting fumes in the air and so forth, the EPA needs to be part of that, the federal organization. And the other thing that had run-ins in the past with is OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Act. So we need to think through this and not just thinking like that. It needs to be really, really, really looked at. So for the safety of the citizens and safety of the company. Okay.
Thank you for the information, Doug. With your background, your work background, I am grateful that you are on the board and keeping watch on this. It's very important to us. Thank you. The other thing was the last meeting, May 9th, the item agenda number 1 was discussion of the water district running down Route 17F. I got to tell you, I was on my heels because I do not believe I read that was on the agenda for May 9th. If I'm wrong, could somebody show it to me? I just looked on the website. It simply wasn't on the agenda. We took a vote, you took a vote to let that proceed to SEQA. If it wasn't on the agenda, is that something that we can do? Can we discuss things that aren't on the agenda? Do they have to be on the agenda? And I know the lawyer doesn't have to answer me, but
I was waiting.
You don't work for me. You don't work for me. I
saw your mouth open a little bit. I'm like, all right.
Oh,
Not like this.
but the thing is, you know, there are some people that would really like to get involved in that particular subject, for or against. I was very, very grateful that Councilman Lyons and Councilman Cantorino put their shoulder right into this and asked some good questions. I am very concerned about putting an unlimited water supply in that end of town, when we have, as Mr. Halloran came in to say, we have 2 high-density housing projects that were proposed for that area. The water, unlimited water supply it'd be the death knell for this town. I'd asked before, Mr. Bloomfield, have we ever needed to sell water to anyone?
No.
Never.
I was a supervisor for 12 years, second longest seated supervisor since 1894. And I have never had anybody come say, hey, will you sell me water? And it's in the back of my mind. The other thing is, and I wish that Christine was here, we cannot use taxpayer money for a water district. Okay? And I'm going to use the example of the water tank that we put out in the Arcadia Hills. It's $500,000, $600,000, and we bought the tank, and those people paid for it. Okay? And so we don't have a district yet, and so we shouldn't be having any engineering or lawyering or anything else until we work through this plan and then go for it.
And at the May 9th meeting, the supervisor said that the town has spent $60,000 already on this, and that's on YouTube. And so that, to me, that's a real problem. It's the cart before the horse.
That's taxpayer money.
It's taxpayer money, and that future, you can go look at towns in this county, and if you'd have told them water was the issue, that's what destroyed you. We really have to pay attention to this now. I do believe my trusted councilmen are keeping an eye on this. Please know this is why you get reelected every time. You truly have the best interest for the taxpayers, for this town. Thank you very much for all the work that you do.
Chris, I just want to.
Thank you, Doug.
It's okay. Read the first thing on that agenda.
And you're a gentleman.
That he is.
That is not on, that had to be updated because that was not on it's not on the website.
Yeah, I don't know. It was the agenda that I just happened to have the agenda.
If you had that agenda,
it was right here. It was all my other. So it might have been an updated agenda. I don't know.
and if that was updated,
I don't know, but I just only because you said that and I looked and I want to make a motion on something that.
And I appreciate that, but it is not on the agenda for the 9th.
Can you pull up the 9th agenda?
I did it. It's not on the
I have a
Agenda
copy
that
of
I
an
uploaded.
agenda.
Because that
Sometimes
was
we
update.
publish it, sorry.
What?
Sometimes we publish it the day before and it changes. That's why I say agenda is subject to change.
Okay.
People want to know beforehand what's going to be on the agenda, so I try to give you notice.
Is it 24 hours in advance? That's when we, is there a rule to when you have to publish
No,
it?
we don't even have to publish an agenda. But we had complaints that we weren't publishing it early enough.
Well, 24 hours isn't much.
I'm just here because I have a suit on.
Maybe the board would like to entertain a new local law that says we let the people know what's going on just a few days in advance. You have people that are interested.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't vote on something that.
Again, thank you for your work. I appreciate it.
I just want to carry that.
On what this gentleman said.
Okay.
You want
Doug,
the
when you
microphone?
told us about the water on Altory landfill and how bad it was, Mr. Beethoven said under his breath that you already bought those groundwater wells. Okay, that's good. So I just wanted to know if that
We
was
did not. He said they were under
He did?
contract.
Okay.
We never
He stated that
discussed it.
that was a fact. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to put huges on the Orange County landfill, don't you think that the executive of Orange County should stand in front of the county, not Mr. Beto, and give us a public hearing where we can ask questions? Because again, that's our taxpayer money.
Right.
And I don't understand how they could build a 125,000 square foot building or have a small R&D on the landfill without our county executive explaining to the public
Well,
why
let me give you an
it's going on.
example.
Hmm?
You know,
The applications.
when the jail was being built and the sheriff's department and all that, they worked out with the village of Florida using lake water from up there, Glenmere Lake. Okay, it's in the town of Goshen, but the town of Goshen never had anything to do with it. They built it, and they spent the money. The county did. Okay, my concern is again spending taxpayer money to study it or anything else. Okay, that should be what. For example, we had a subdivision, the Heritage, and the man who built it, he bought the land, he did the water testing and all this business. He built it, and then he gave it to us, and then we operate it. But we didn't put one penny into building it, or plant, whatever.
I have to ask a question on that came as I rethought this water district, and Rory, maybe you can help me on this one. We have now a consolidated water district, which I understand that all our water districts will be consolidated into one. Am I correct in assuming that, or understanding that?
Well, we would have to do that. We would have
We
to
did
do
it
that,
already.
but I don't think it's
We
automatic.
do. We have a consolidated water district now. All the water districts now are one.
They're the existing ones. Yeah.
My question is, in this particular water district,
Mhm.
if they make it a water district,
Right.
well, the rest of the districts are going to have to pay for it. Are they responsible for paying for what's been done so far as a water district?
I don't know that me as attorney is the best person to answer, but my understanding was that it was essentially, and I don't want to speak for supervisor here, since he's not here.
Yeah.
But I will.
No, go ahead.
I believe if you're asking whether the monies, you're talking about the monies that have been laid out.
Yeah.
I believe those monies, would be deemed borrowed if I understand how the budget process works. But I think that's probably more of a Christine question than a.
No, she said it's owed to Fund B taxpayers.
So that would be borrowed. That's what I was essentially stating. But I don't know if that's my capacity to speak on it. I'm just reiterating what I understood to have taken place.
I just wanted to understand if we're dealing with a water district and establishing a water district.
Right.
Does that cost be spread out to all the other water districts because it will be part of it? I didn't know.
Outside of
I didn't
when
know
it
if
comes
that's
to
what-
numbers, outside of like when it comes to my hourly rate and my bills, numbers I'm not really great with, so I don't. Well, I'm being serious. That part of the conversation is kind of where I leave it. I'm more about constructing the contractual end of the things that put together a water district, but I don't necessarily know how that works. I've heard that terminology, which I just reiterated. I think Doug kind of said the same thing, so I don't want to say that you did, but it sounded like.
Phil, when these water districts were built,
No, I understand that.
And they were given to
Doug,
the
I
town.
understand the process. I'm asking the question if this will be part of
I don't
that
know.
consolidated water district, and will they be billed because they're establishing a water district? I don't know.
I don't know.
So
One more question.
Yes.
we need to
want
find
my-
out.
No, I don't, I'm pretty loud.
No, but do you
No,
understand what the
I'm nervous
microphone's
enough.
for?
What I'd like to know is, why are we buying water from Middletown and selling water? And, okay, so
Okay,
you
let me-
clarified the groundwater, but if we're buying water,
Okay.
why are we selling it, and who's paying for that?
Well, here's what it is, okay? Amy's Kitchen came, and the first thing they did is their engineers and scientists said, you can't use the land out there because of the landfill, the Albury landfill. It's got toxins in it, okay? You put that in the food, you sell the food, you're gonna go out of business, okay? So the other thing is that water study, it was done in 2002 by Shore Department, did not show much water in that water area out there, section 50. Okay? Not enough to do what Amy's Kitchen wanted. So Amy's had, before they bought the land to build their factory, okay, because I was in my office, fat, dumb, and happy, and I got a call from Mr. Berliner saying, Doug, I'm not going to sign this. We're not coming to Goshen unless you get the city of Middletown and they're to agree and give us a contract that we're going to do this. Okay. So myself and some others, we talked to them, and they said, oh yeah, we'll do this. And so they did. They came up with a contract because Amy's Kitchen knew they had to have water and sewer, okay, before they could build a food plant.
Or
And
was
so-
that because their water there at the Altory landfill is toxic?
Well, there wasn't adequate volume of that either.
But the landfill
But they
water was
couldn't use
toxic.
that. They're
Okay, all
industrial.
right, that, I just want, the water there was toxic too, it was in
Oh,
low
yeah, it's
volume and
toxic,
toxic.
sure.
Okay, this
Sure.
is why we're very concerned about having Huges in, because that landfill is not completely, covered. So that's all my questions, but my biggest question was, is the executive of the County of Orange going to hold a public meeting to discuss Huges? I think that's very fair because it's county
Sure.
property.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know.
Again,
how do we find out?
well, I'm pretty sure they're not before the planning board right now, Doug.
I don't know. I mean, I understand they're working on, Hughes is working with their.
Well, I don't want to create an
I don't
expectation
know.
that the county executive is going to be brought into anything that's not going on. So I just want to make sure that we're understanding of procedurally, they are either suspended their application or something, but they're not before the planning board actively right
But in
now.
the FOIL information, it says that they know that the planning board is not going to sign off, and they're looking for ways around it. But anyway, I just want to know if the county executive is going to hold a meeting before anything gets built that's not owned or run by the county on county land.
That's more, you have every right to ask it. I'm just stating, I want to make sure I clarify from the town's end of things, that's not in our purview. So being that there's no current business.
Well, that's why I mentioned when the county in the village of Florida
I
put the
understand.
water line in and all that, they did it, and then, and they signed the contracts and all that in the town of Goshen. It's in Goshen, just like this is in Goshen. We had nothing to do with
But
it.
was it on county land, what you're referring to in Florida?
No,
Okay.
the water line came from the village of Florida.
Okay,
And the county had to have a contract with the village of Florida. They
okay.
and so that's how that works. But we're going industrial, like the used thing. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about it, but they're going to use a lot of water, I
Mr. Bezos
suppose.
seems to know a lot.
And that's not the county. That's a private corporation.
On county land.
I guess that's correct. Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
Thank you for answering my questions, I truly appreciate it.
Well, I hope I have, but I don't know. I feel very incompetent about giving you an answer about something that
I understand.
yeah, okay.
So
Other
do all
public
the
comment?
people around.
Yes.
Should I come up and do that, or?
Only because we record it for the
No,
minutes.
I want this to be
Just so you-
recorded.
Okay, good.
Name
Yeah.
and address.
My name is June Evers. I'm over on Gate Schoolhouse Road. We went to the latest environmental board meeting, which we really love those meetings. We hope you don't do away with them. They're wonderful. The one thing that Neil brought up is that the Orange County landfill does not have a liner at all, and the Altuve landfill only has half a liner. So I wanted to stress, now I don't know where the Hughes is at this point, but to put that onto a landfill that doesn't have a liner, and he did say, the one man who sat there did say there's not gonna be a lot of runoff, but there's always runoff. And if there's no liner under this thing, it's really, that's gotta be stressed. I also wanted to ask a question about Florio. He works for TAMS, and he didn't have to recuse himself, but I think he should recuse himself from the vote because he does work for someone who would then possibly work for, or does work for that company. So I think that's important to note. Also, I wanted to ask.
I can address that.
Oh, yes, please.
I disagree.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Well, whatever.
I've advised him of that, and I don't really. I'm not. It's not intended for. I'm addressing it. I've addressed it the last meeting, and I don't mean it in any manner which your opinion. I can understand it. I've given him my legal advice on it. He's not going to address it. So it can be brought up again. If there's new facts or information brought to my attention, then I will reanalyze it. But at this time, I had advised him that I didn't believe it to be a conflict. So I'm just answering it so they don't have to answer, because I don't know that they would just be looking at me. So.
Okay, well, anyway, I just think that should be thought about because
It has been.
it's like you're paid by the town.
Right.
He is someone on the thing here of the town who signs checks that possibly you get. That's what I'm just concerned about.
What's the concern?
Well, that's like I don't know how to.
Maybe?
Yeah, thank you.
It's based on what, though? I'm interested because I can say to you, as an attorney, I don't believe it to be. And then I don't expect that to just be accepted because, according to the first guy, I'm a second-rate jurisprudence.
Well, for that,
but
I should be able to say something about that then.
Right.
What's that?
For that, yeah.
No, what I'm saying is that from a legal standpoint, I don't believe it to be. Okay. So, I just am trying to figure out where the causal connection that the public believes it to be. So because maybe I'm missing something. I don't know.
Okay, well, I just said it. So,
but I don't.
But I said it just to put it out there,
right?
Not like saying it like I'm God saying it.
No, I didn't. I wasn't saying it like you said that. You need a different kind of microphone and a little echo effect to get.
Yeah, I was going to take you to church on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm just curious. That's all.
All right. Well, I just wanted to ask another question, and this is probably not for Goshen, but I'd like to know how can we either put like a weight restriction on Maple Avenue or something on Maple Avenue so that it's a tiny, narrow little road. People's houses are in fact, one guy showed me a video. His driveway is, I don't know how many feet it is, but the video, the trucks go by so close to his house that there's something we've got to do. And I've been told that you can only go to the county. But is there steps that we can do to work towards?
I think we just did that. We did that with Houston, but Maple's not a house. It's Maple's not a county road. So.
No.
It might, like Gibson, if you come on Gibson Road, it says County 105 or something like that. So some of those roads which we colloquially think are Goshen or town roads, some of them have a county tied to them, which does, I don't know off the top of my head.
I think we need to check that out.
Yeah.
Because I've seen trucks out there digging.
Oh, no doubt. I'm not disputing that part. I just meant about procedurally, because I know we did it for Houston.
Yes.
To cut down on speeding and the other damages that come along with it, but I'm not sure about Maple.
Well, that's why I brought that up when Broderick was here, because some people have already notified me and said that there are a lot of trucks going up and down that road, especially concrete trucks.
And semis.
See, here's the problem that I think might be a problem. Some of it's local delivery, and one of the concrete plants, I think, is off Maple Avenue. So,
I
but
understand that concrete. That's his basically.
But if there's a weight limit,
off of that
yeah.
Road.
No,
but the semis that are
I
going
agree.
by are not local.
It usually says. I'm sorry, Phil.
I know. I asked our attorney.
I just did this in another municipality where the local, but it says local deliveries only, and it's pretty clear on what I mean.
Yeah.
someone keeps popping up, and
Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm sorry.
I'm looking into that. I asked our police chief to look into that, and I did ask our attorneys already.
Yeah.
Because I've had some feedback that there's a real problem with those trucks going up and down, and that's why I asked Broderick about the roads, and I specifically said Maple Avenue, because, I mean, they could...
It is a county road, so Miss Everett.
Is it a county road?
I'll refer
Yeah.
to county attorney.
Would you do that?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
thank
actually
you.
don't know how it happens after that. I mean,
There you go.
But I'll
If you
refer.
could just
All right.
let
Yeah.
us know how we can help to maybe change the, whatever you call it
Yeah,
on that
yeah,
road.
yeah, no, that's a
Okay.
problem.
All
I
right, thank
agree.
you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Public comment?
I have one other thing, Mr. Lyons, if I may.
Come on up.
I'll go quick. Just to clear up, I'm the one that brought up that Councilman Florio worked
Yep, I remember.
worked for TAM.
Yep.
So when you said if anybody could
Yeah,
explain it
I
any
just-
clearer,
I'm
here's
curious.
how I see it. Here's how I see
Go
it.
for it.
Mr. Florio works for TAM Enterprises, receives a check from them.
Yes.
Hughes Energy has said in their initial application to the town that they will be using TAM Enterprises.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about picking up the garbage twice a week for $30 a month. I'm talking some decent money.
Right.
So now, Councilman Florio is paid by TAM to do his job, as he should on this, his day job, and he is now putting in a vote on his own paycheck. The better his company does, he makes money. In legalese, the reasonable man standard says there is a conflict of interest there. I don't see how much clearer that could be. We all think so.
That assumes you're a reasonable man.
It's a big
I
question.
couldn't miss that one, man.
Maybe you'll think some more about it.
I wasn't asking it. It may have come across whatever way, but I'm asking it because I don't see it, and you start to get in easy slippery slopes. A decent amount of money. Well, where's the threshold, right? Any money? Then we could start parsing out attenuations all the way out, right? That there's a direct. I mean, there is a pretty decent amount of law out there, case law, that kind of gives you where thresholds are. Have I been wrong before? Sure. I would rather, right now, I don't believe that it reaches that threshold, at least in my observation of where the reasonable person is supposed to operate in that analysis. Because if I start on your analysis, anybody who has any causal connection to benefit is a conflict. Now, there's conflicts, there's appearance of impropriety, there's levels of this, and I'm not poo-pooing it. But the minute I got to be really sure about it, if I pull someone off the dais on stuff, because then we go down the line and you're going to have nobody up there voting, because you want to have people get elected because they're representative of the community, right? And they tend to have little connections here, little connections here. I understand he works for a company that in documents, I have not seen those, nor have I not seen them. They exist according to you. I believe that. Then, I'm sorry.
They're public record.
Yeah, I didn't need. I'm taking it for his word. I mean, I understand that. I'm just saying that you get into these situations where every single tie of any level is gonna. It doesn't even have to trickle down. It has to trickle up, then down, and around, and then down. And you can say that somehow this person potentially could benefit from this. I mean, you can benefit from any decision. You're a resident of the town. They make a decision up here, it benefits the town. All right, that's a conflict of interest because they're a town resident. That's an extreme example, right? Obviously, by design, okay? By design. I'm just saying, my personal opinion, based on what's in front of me right now, I don't believe on the law it fits a conflict of interest. It may fit it. Just one last piece, because there's two different ways that you look at things. There's what goes on based on law and the court of legal opinion, and then I understand the court of public opinion, and I don't poo-poo it. I just am telling you, lawyer Rory says no. The other Rory would maybe have a different opinion, maybe he would, but that within the law, that's my opinion. So I just don't want it to. It's going to come up every time. That's all.
Councilman Florio votes no on the project. His next day at work is very, very uncomfortable. Reasonable man standard.
That's not how the reasonable man standard works, though. So if you're going to throw out legal terms, you should probably understand how they work. Because then I have to then.
The board needs to be beyond reproach. It's this one's pretty cut and dry. Your boss is counting on that vote.
There's options, and honestly, there's options. I hate to be like, You
know how the
but
town feels. You know how the voters feel.
The voters,
Yeah,
One
that's
more
good.
last question, I promise.
Okay.
All right, so if this huge is planned into special permit for construction, operation, research, development, blah, 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 which is gonna be within the town of Goshen, tax map 16-1-1.13, including introductory local law number 1 of 2024, amending provisions related to the solid waste management facilities. Is this gonna be taken care of after we see, or is this gonna keep going while they're figuring out how to get this hugest put in this county? So I don't understand what the introductory law is, if somebody could tell us that, about the amending provisions related to solid waste management.
That's gonna have to be voted on.
Correct, but are they gonna
introductory law.
change that law before all of this? That's what will be, that will
If
give
the
them
law is
the right to
approved,
put it
if
in
the
there.
law is approved, then they
So
move
when do
forward.
we
but-
find out when they vote on that, and when does the public find out that we're
Right,
voting on
after a
that?
public hearing. Go ahead,
Well,
Rory.
yeah, I mean, there's a scheduling, before a public hearing, would you
Well,
be?
we were going June 6th, and now it's
If you don't
canceled.
want to hear the answer, then
I'm sorry.
that's
Hey,
okay. I was going to say, just go back and maybe watch some of the previous meetings, just for context, okay? So you have an understanding of the build-up to where folks are here, speaking their mind, which is great. That's the whole point of the process, right? There would need to be a public hearing scheduled for it to be, not even to be voted on, for the public to have their opportunity, not just on the privilege of the floor, but directly, like, consolidated just for that local law.
That would be
There was a discussion, there were suggestions made. Those suggestions are being incorporated into a revision of that local law. There's a process, not just the town board's input, public's input. The planning board of town of Goshen has to provide their input, and then the county has to provide their input, based on the type of change the local law is trying to achieve. So when I say we're not at a vote yet, we have to have more feedback, which is part of that process. So I would say that right now, you don't have to worry about a vote happening until we get that stuff back, and then it would be scheduled to go before the dais, and you would have another opportunity to be heard on.
Thank you.
So, but I do encourage you, because there has been,
I listened.
okay, all right, so then that's fine.
Public comment. Going once? Thank you very much for coming out, and I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Again, thanks again